What's up YouTube, Jay Travelina here. Today we have the Supernova EVGA 1300 watt power supply unit. It's a G2. It is a 80 plus gold power supply unit. So we're going to be putting it into the rig today and replacing the 1000 watt with it to help see if it'll help us stabilize it a little bit more and get that fifth card mining a little bit faster with hash rates. Right now it is running hot right now. It's running about 780 watts at the wall. So hopefully we can bring it down a little bit also, and hopefully this power supply unit can help solve a few issues with it. So we'll get it put in there and I'll show you what I'm going to do to swap it over and how I'm going to do it. So here's the 1300. So let's get it unboxed a little bit. And you know, I did have it out a little. Comes with a bunch of stuff. It's a pretty big unit. It has a lot of wires hooked up to it from the previous owner, as you can see, but it should suit me pretty well on my rig here. So what I'm going to do is get mine down here unmounted and pretty much just reuse this existing wiring and plug it right into the 1300 and get it fired up that way, and then hopefully we can get, you know, all these cards running at its peak. So you can also see at the wall we get about 780, 85, which is a little higher than my last video. I haven't touched. I think it just has to do with some heat. But you can also see a little addition to my office here. I added a thermometer so you can see it's 82 degrees Fahrenheit in this office. I do leave the window open to try and help with some of the heat, to try and dissipate it out, but this thing still runs pretty hot. So what I'm going to do is shut this rig down, which I'll have to do for my computer, and then go into the back and start disconnecting the power supply unit. Alright, so we got the rig shut down, so I'm just going to kind of pull it out. What I'm going to do here is around the back of it, you'll see, if you're looking, there's just a couple screws down here. There's one here, one down there. We'll just loosen those screws and then we'll just get the power supply up and then just reuse some of that wiring. Hopefully we can just pull it straight out, and I'll unplug. We got this whole mess on there right now that I'll just unplug and plug right in there. I mean, they're all usually, for the most part, pretty universal. So let's get that unplugged and off of the frame. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys this. As you can see, this is my 1000 watt over here, and this is the 1300 watt. Look at the size difference just in the power supply unit alone. I mean, the 1300 is just really big and really beefy looking. So I got this out, and you can see the kind of wiring down there that I'll sort through in a second. So we'll get the 1300 mounted on here. I got the screws on the floor over here we don't want to lose. Get it mounted up, and I'll get the wiring all sorted out and plugged in, and then we'll see what we can do from there. And hopefully we can just get a little bit less from the wall, get a little more efficient, and get, I believe it was this card over here all the way at the end that wasn't mining quite as efficient as the rest. So hopefully with this more power going to it, that we can get a lot better hash rates out of it. So let's get this power supply hooked up on there real quick. All right guys, so as you can see, the 1300 is in there right now. One thing I did do while I'm swapping out, I'll show you here real quick, is I did swap out the power wire. If you look at them, I'm trying to get as best comparison as I can here. You can kind of see that it is a thicker gauge that came with the 1300 watt. So I swapped that out just to be on the safe side, because I know more current may be flowing through it. But for now, I mean, it's pretty much all back in there. I hooked up the wiring back into the front. I mean, you can't really tell through that mess, but it's all hooked back up into the power supply. So if we click it on, it should just fire right up. If it doesn't, then there, a couple fans are turning. 2, 3. 3 of them are on. So I may have to trace down some wiring real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna have to trace down some wiring because 3 of the 5 did turn on. So I may have to shut this back down real quick and check the wiring down there and make sure I plugged everything in all the way. And give it another reboot. Alright, so I got all 5 cards running now. I retraced the wiring, everything looked good. I tightened everything up. Checked the connections on the board, see if I rattled anything loose. But I also turned on the back side of the GP, you'll see there's an eco mode. And let me show you one that is easier to get to. You'll see on these GPUs here that there's an eco mode here, and I turned it off on this one. So I went on the back of this one, I just shut it off so that, I mean, it really doesn't matter if it's running or not. So that's off now. Now all 5 cards are running. And I plugged my monitor up so we can kind of give it a little peek. So we're mining right now, so the same as before. So what I'm going to do is go into my afterburner settings. So I'm going to go down and bring that up. So my last card, I had the power set way down, if you can see it there. So I'm going to go and tweak that a little bit and see if we can just get that to come up some and start mining better. My wall actually dropped a little bit. I'm at 260 now, which is, or 275 now, 250. I'm still fluctuating a lot, but it's still better than before. So I'm hoping with the better power supply that it's like that. It also could have to do with the heat of the cards because they're a lot lower now. But I'm still, if you look at my temperature, I'm still at 82 degrees Fahrenheit inside of this room. So that is tough. So last thing I'm going to do is go into my settings here and see if I can just tweak it a little bit and get this card mining a little bit faster now we have a bigger power supply unit. Alright, so I boosted the settings up on the card a little bit to try and match my other ones, but as you can see here, it's still pretty low. It actually went down a good amount on the card as far as the hash rate. Obviously much lower than I would want. As you see, the other ones are still 29s across the board pretty much. So maybe some more tweaking. Maybe I have to check the BIOS. Maybe it's something wrong with inside of that that's holding it back. I mean, if you have anything I can try, comment below and we'll give it a shot. I mean, worst case scenario, I break a card, not a big deal. But I'm willing to give anything a try. But right now, I mean, all I really pretty much did was up the temperature on the card. So as of right now, upgrading to the 1300 watt didn't do me any good as of yet. The only thing I did was start pulling 800 watts from the wall instead of the 780. So I'll tweak that down a little bit and get it back down to where it was until I can figure out what else could be going wrong with this card, because it's saying it's pulling 95 watts, but my hash rates are lower. So I'll see what's going on with that and try and figure that out. All right, thanks for watching. Unfortunately, it wasn't a successful upgrade to the mining rig. I didn't get the results I was hoping for. I'll keep tweaking and tuning and just trying to see what else I can do to get my card mining faster and more efficient. In the meantime, I may actually bring the clock speeds down just because of how hot it's getting in the room and how hot the cards are getting, and bring down just the electricity costs for now until I can figure out what's going on with that card and get it mining at the speeds I'd like to be mining at. But don't forget to subscribe and check out some more news and updates on this rig as it goes along, and more rigs coming along down the line. Thanks.